So I wanted to let everybody know that my brother passed probably an hour ago. Yeah, he passed in hospital. And it's so funny that, well, not funny, but I was actually in the middle of making a video about Saturn being in retrograde that a lot of people are missing. It's coming up in the readings a lot because Saturn actually went in retrograde from the 29th of April till September the 18th. And this is why people are feeling so much restriction, because Saturn is about boundaries and loss and gain. Loss and gain and boundaries and restriction and karma. Karmic connections, losses and gains. Okay, now I'm going to do a video, and I am going to do about that, because Saturn is very much about yourself. It really is, because it's about what's in front of you. If what is in front of you is not enough, Saturn, I know I'm coming off the subject, but I will get back. Saturn is a planet, and it doesn't care about you as a human, because it's not human. It cares about you, but it doesn't care about your feelings, but it cares about you. That's why it's about restrictions and boundaries of you, of like, well, what's right in front of your face? Is that not good enough? Okay, well, if it's not real good enough and you manifested that within a period of time, circle, time, and the Wheel of Fortune, if that's not, then you're still concentrated and connected to things of loss than what you are gain. So it will enforce you to show up as what you really are, if that's what you want, because it's always about you. You know, you attract yourself to a substance of loss and gain. Okay, so you have to show up in order to go forward, regardless of what happens around your environment that you can't control. Okay, so, but I will do a video on that. I will. But the only reason why I mention this is because me losing my brother was inevitable, because it's been happening for a long time. So I'd settled for the fact that that was going to happen. So you release control and realize, well, it's not under my control of what someone's doing with their life. Okay, this is why it relates to the video that's going to come up. But I can't control what happens with him. All right, it's my brother and I love him very much. Okay, but separating your soul from your moon sign of your head, another video coming up, but we realize as human beings that we can never control what is already happened and what's been happening for a long time. So interconnection of cluster of soul group, family, soul groups, connection of. Okay, so because that was happening, I was getting so much blame here by my mother. My mother, interconnection of soul, also the mother, which will come up within moon sign, okay? But also reflection of karma, which is always to do with you, which is the mother or father of a chain cycle of one energy, okay? All of us cut from the same cloth. So, and that relate to moon sign video. But because my mum has been trying to, obviously, like you would obviously, of why people can blame, okay, is to save my son, and I need to do it for years and years and years, because I'm losing grips of someone that's going that way, okay, I can't keep control of it because I'm the mother, okay? So you have more of a strong bond of connection. But still, because life is cruel and we have experiences of loss and gain, when you have to look at things as soul, of what it come here to experience of energy, of loss and gain. A soul's path is literally written for it to experience a specific project or thing that it came here for. When you look outside of meat, suit and soul, separation of soul and avoidance of yourself, okay? So, sorry, but I'm really going into the video that I was going to do. But because my brother was out of control for many years, my mother, being the mother, needed to grab hold of that to pull it back towards a substance that was constantly wanting to go the opposite direction for himself. He didn't realize things about himself and he constantly went that way. So my mum was losing grips of reality, okay, reality. Because it's happening within your reality of your substance of what goes on within your karma. This is why you can't ever blame people for what happens in their life, because you can't blame someone for other projects that I've got coming up. Get back to subject. Because it's more of a relief to me. You know, it is. I know that might self-centered and self-absorbed, and it's very upsetting. It really is upsetting. But when you look at the broader spectrum of, it's more of a release for someone that has suffered so much through torture and pain that, you know, when I've experienced caring in the past, for caring for elderly and people in jobs that I've done, is the fact that sometimes when elderly people, if they have, like, if they've smoked for years or they have diabetes or something like that, okay, and they're coming to the end of their life and they've pretty much been told, or they've give up on life, and they want, say, like a biscuit, a packet of biscuits. It's like, well, you know, I'm fucking 70 or 80 years old. I want a packet of fucking biscuits, man, you know? And the parent is like, no, you can't give him a packet of biscuits because he has diabetes. We want him to continue to live. What, in suffer? To suffer? The fact that that human being wants a packet of biscuits. Do you see? The want, me and I, and the need and the want and the yearning for what we want. The tide is turning. The tide is turning. Changing of tables of time within the reality substance of energy. Okay? So we realise, sorry, but I'm really kind of channeling now, so I'm going to go with it. But when you look at caring for someone, okay, their parent wants them to outlive and they want them to last a long time. But is that self-absorbed or self-centered because of the want, me and I? Because an elderly person reaching their end of life, that they want a packet of biscuits or they want a cigarette? You know, they've continued to do that their whole life, and that was their path to leave. Even though they didn't want the outcome they did, they still chose to lead that lives for themselves, where you can't blame yourself for what it is that you've done over your period of life. You have to understand that, well, whatever I did in the past is what I did in the past, so I have to learn to let it go. Okay? So when it relates a lot to what's happening with me in my, because I always have a broader spectrum of going forward, you know, forward. But because of that, people that go to visit their parents and people of elderly kind of substance, they argue with the carer also that's in between, or the nurses that are saying, well, you know, we can make things a lot more relaxed for them by giving them more medication, you know, and make it easier. No, I want them more alert and more alive for when I come to see them because they're always asleep. You see? No, they can't have cigarettes and they can't have a packet of biscuits and enjoy the time that they have left. Who's right and who's wrong? Who's to blame? Really? Anybody? As human beings, we connect with people that is written for their life to actually experience themselves, and is why you can't ever blame someone for the choices or actions or reactions that they actually make for themselves. You can't. You never can, because it pulls you out of control. Me, because my mother was trying to hold on to her son that you naturally would do, natural, you would hold on to that, okay? Other son, okay? Coming home from a situation of dynamic within the world, going backwards and forwards, it's out of control. I can't hold on to it. I'm losing control. I have to learn to let go. You can relate this to people, jobs, projects, or karmic situations in your life, because it's about karma, okay? You can't hold on to the past because you will constantly live in the past. What's the point in that? You have to have a broader spectrum of an outlook of going forward. Because if you don't, you concentrate more on losses than gains, and whatever's in front of you will never be good enough. Will never be good enough. Okay? So, wow, the finger's coming out. The finger's coming out. But, you know, this is part of release also. You know, I suppose a little bit of internal anger from me. But, you know, but when my mother came back after an extremely exhausting day of trying to control the environment that was out of control, her son, but environment that's out of control, come back after a very exhausting day of trying to fight and battle, 5 and the 7 of swords, self-deceiving yourself, okay? It's always about self, Saturn, self, always. So, well, Saturn, we don't care, because you're more focused on someone else's path. This is how cruel life can be, okay? So because you're not looking at it as face value of someone that's done that to them for their whole life, What are you still holding on to it for? Because they're your son? Well, yeah, because I'm a human fucking being. No, you're a soul, young soul, that has come here to experience what I had to do. Sacrifice myself. Lucifer and all of you, I sacrifice myself as one energy of how you manifest things into your life. And if you are more concerned with someone else, you will never get what you want that's right in front of you. Death is always there. A feeling, a thought, everything. It's right in front of you. Always. Always. Okay? So what we start to experience is that a soul of mother or relationship of family karma also, or control of dynamic, okay, where I can't concentrate on my craft, but you have to present yourself of who you are for what you want, for where you're headed, okay? I know it sounds self-absorbed, and some of you might say, well, you know, that's blame for a soul that makes a decision for themselves. So because my mother then comes home and blames me because there's not enough water in the kettle, you know, or because my response is very calm, you know. So she would form an argument with me straight away because of, well, why are you not reacting the way I want you to react? Why are you so calm? Your brother's dying. You know, because I've accepted that, because I learned that to release something that is inevitable, that is forcing itself to go that way, the more I hold on to that, that's the way that energy has been doing that for a long time. So again, focusing on lost and gain. You as a soul can never move forward while you're contracted with karma, like we all are. So why do people blame people? Why do people blame people for a want and a need of a feeling or a thought? You know, manifesting from thought and feeling is so important to have understanding about release of control, of blame and appearance of things that form a structure of someone's path that was written for them to experience, to learn to let past karma go, you know, because you will never be able to experience the great things that are always right in front of your face, you know. So then I get pretty much blamed and hated upon, you know. People in my life I experience that used to really like, and they ask me for advice a lot of the time, you know, within my mundane life of people and family. They ask my advice because I'm a very soothing person that always comes up with the keys to life and the answers to it, you know, which is always the hardest advice to ever hear, is the truth, you know. The truth of the matter is why you can stand up and say it, you know, because that makes you a leader, the person that can confront their own demons, you know, because it's the sword of truth. It's the archangel sword of truth that confronts the demon, confronts itself, okay, cut from the same cloth. The demon or the devil is Saturn, okay, that's why it's here. It's in retrograde of Capricorn, okay. So pretty much is the fact that, you know, because my mum can't let that go, she then has now blamed herself the fact that she needed to be there overnight when he passed, you know. So now has lost control because she couldn't control the substance that you know. I know it's the sun, I know it's difficult for people to understand, you know, but my mum is now projecting so much hatred and blame upon herself that what she's actually doing is projecting so much blame upon herself, her other son, me, you know. So so is that a win-win or a lose-lose? You know, people used to, like I was getting to, that people used to like my advice and to hear me talk, you know, and then all of a sudden they don't. All of a sudden they don't. You have great clarity. You have this and you can give me the advice. But now I don't, and now I hate it, and now I hate it. Why is that you can speak the truth? Why is that you have this substance about you, is about what I want, but then I don't want it, and then I need it, and then I don't need it, and then I want... See, family dynamic also, you know. I want this and need that, but then I'm going to come back and I'm going to blame you because you're my son and I want you to, but I want that and it's gone and it's going and I'm losing grips of the past and I can't let it go. So now the future is bright, but you're getting on my nerves because you're calm and I'm out of control. Projection of blame upon a substance that's calm. That's calm, you see. Negative response and positive of an explosion of the tower that's created when you have a negative and a negative, you know. Out of vibration with the universe of control of Saturn, of that it is going to bring things very much out of control with people, because it's always going to talk about you and it will always talk about what's right in front of your face, you know. We are reaching for death on the end of a candle. We're reaching for something that's already found us, you know. We always have an extended reach for something that we can't grasp and that we want, of that 1%. That 1%, you know. Where is that 1% of my internal happiness? Well, internal happiness, it never is eternal happiness. The 10 of Cups of what a tarot card reader may throw at somebody, there's your 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups can go from a 10 to a 9 to an 8 to a 7 to a 6 to a 5 to a 4 to a 3 to a 1. Any point of the day. Because life is never perfect. It's never perfect. People in life have feelings and emotions that can become control and out of control and control and out of control. It's not about someone's feelings and thoughts that change. It's the thing that's right in front of you that counts. The hard work, the effort that you put into karma, of how you show up to be what it is that you want in life. If it's right in front of you, then why are you not taking it? Karma will enforce that upon people, very much so. You know, with my channel, I've got so much to talk about that I told people about the Akashic records. Of now I haven't even have to really look at a lot of it. But it comes in through dribs and drabs, where I wrote a fucking huge story around things that just keep coming in, that it forms a story around life in general, you know. I've spoke about this because it is a lot to do with losses and gain. Karma can take things from you in life as well as it can give you things in life, because karma is about losses and gains. It's about past life experiences, past people, past jobs, past connections, soul groups, clusters, family, situations of money, energy, everything. It's all felt as a substance that's felt constantly every single day of second of time, of metaphysics. Metaphysical law doesn't really exist because your environment will constantly happen anyway, whether you like it or not. So you'll never be able to control what happens around you, because it's just going to constantly tick whether people die or not. Whether they live or whether they die, time will literally still go by all of the time. Even if the planets didn't exist, time would still be there. Okay? So you can't keep grips of reality of what happens around you. It's what's happening around you that's making you out of control. So if your life is settled, blame. You see? You can blame for what people have, for what some people don't. But does that really fucking matter? Does that really matter for what someone has or what they don't have, as a reflection of a car, for instance? A car, for instance, right? A car, small, medium or large. A house, small, medium or large. A job, small, medium or large. A car will get you from A to B, whether it's 200 quid or fucking 10 grand, 10,000. Does it matter? If you need to go from a job from here to A to B, how are you going to get there? in a £10,000 car that's going to cost you a fucking lot of money to get from here to here, or a £200 car. But what's it going to matter? What people see you in? You're the person that's in it. You're the person that's in it, so you're the person that matters. Okay? It's always the individual person that matters, not what they have or don't have. They're just going to fucking work. A house, the same. What's it going to put over you? A fucking roof over your head. So what's it matter how small or big or medium or large it is or how much it's worth? Your own self-worth is what's most important of what you have and what you are as a person. Not as a thing, as an object of greed. Is it? You know? It's never about the external appearance of what you can't control. You know, when you drive a car from here to here, you're in control of it. But that car could go out of control at any point because of another person that drives into you. Or if they're drunk or whatever they're doing, could drive straight into you. You know? Or you could not think for a second and you could just have an accident. So you're not always fully in control of an external thing that you're in. But when you're fully aware of what it is that you're doing and what you want and where you are, you're more in control of that thing that's going that way, of a car. So you're more in control of where you are constantly headed. The 7, the chariot, talks about all of us because it's your life path. It aligns you with you. Your chakras, the 7 days of the week that don't exist because there's more fucking days in a fucking year and a lifetime than a week. Okay? So it aligns you with you, not just a week, not just a month or the year. Tarot readings. It aligns you with energy of you, where you are, constantly you. Okay? So what's right in front of you? What's right in front of you? You know? Some people that are not self-aware, the reason why they're not self-aware is still there because I guarantee you they're still contracted to their past. You will always be contracted to your past because it's an experience that you're lived or you're fucking reliving. You're either reliving it by staying contracted to it because it's about you going that way, or you're still contracted it within your mind. Why are you contracted it within your mind? You have to let things go, appearance of pride and blame and hatred, because if you can't, you're contracted to it yourself. It's no one else, it's you. Always. You have to have strength to move fucking that way. No one else can make you. No one can make you because they come exhausted trying to pull you. So what are you doing? Fighting? With who? Your fucking self. You fight with yourselves. You always fight with yourselves. Constantly. You know, I've experienced so many things in my life that, you know, I've come to realise that about people that nothing is ever good enough for what they actually really have now. What do you have now? You know? To live in the now is when you can live settled and relaxed. You know? That's not your fault and that's no one else's fault. That's just you as an individual of who you actually are. So look in the mirror and ask yourselves who you are. Where are you? What is going on around you? What's going on around you? Are you happy? Or are you sad? Are you happy all the time? Guarantee you no one's perfect. You're going to be happy, sad, disappointed. You're going to be out of control. You know. But what are you trying to control? Your future or your past? What is it? Okay, so that went on from, wow, fuck knows where that came from, guys. So I don't know what I'm going to list that as. I'm just babbling some stuff and channeling some stuff. But yeah, I lost my brother, you know, but I understood that. And I'm probably going to go and see him. I really don't know. Well, I'm not. No, I'm not going to go and see him. I will, like the funeral and stuff that comes up. But my mum has actually gone to the hospital, you know. So, yeah. But I have some good friends that are constantly in contact with me. They're so good, my friends. You know, I've got one sole group of family, like my sister. You know, I've grown up with her since I was born, you know. And she's married, and he is such a nice guy. he is a Taurus. He is a Taurus, and my best friend is a Sagittarius, and she has a Virgo rising, but very supportive of me, very much so. But yeah, but I have to concentrate on my craft and things, because it is about what you want. It's really about, it's always about what you want. You know, if you want things in life, you got to work for it. You know, but money and objects and things that happen around you, to me, it's really not important about a person. Things and objects are obviously important, but what really matters, of what the point I'm trying to drive home to people, is the person. You. Constantly. It's always about you. What kind of person are you? What kind of person do you perceive yourself as? You know, where are you in all this game, this matrix? You know, where are your thoughts? Where are your feelings? Because that's what you manifested, and that's what you manifest. So if you manifested or manifest something, okay, and then you don't want it or need it, and then you're indecisive and you're in and out and you're left, right and centre, like my mum, restriction, you know, restriction, death, rebirth, regeneration, tide is turning, okay, times are changing, always around us, time changes around us, constantly, the tide is turning. So I'll catch you again soon, peace.